Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. You know, we're in the community. We go around and interview the politicians, and it's a good thing to see people elected to office. Everybody come with their own views. But again, it's a very exciting time for BASA News because we get to meet the characters that's eventually, one way or the other, going to represent us in the city council, mayor, governor, and we haven't reached that so far as president, but we've been through three different conventions. I'm really excited when I'm working with the politicians. I'm here today with Luther Roberson. Newark, running for Central Ward Councilman. Luther, introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Luther Roberson. I'm on the ballot in slot C7. I am the right choice for your voice, Newark. I'm born and raised in Newark at the Scott Holmes Projects on Howard Street. I actually grew up with this brother right here. It's great to see him in the news business, getting all kind of views out into the community as far as Newark life and how we're growing, where we came from.
Sure.
I'm a St. Benedict's graduate. I was in the military for U.S. Air Force Reserves, honorable discharge. I attended Essex County College, where you now see the Challenge 78. It was the first class back in 87 and 88. Again, Newark firefighter, 22 years, the former vice president of the union. I acquired my degree in labor law at Rutgers, and I also I'm the president of the Central Ward Little League Baseball, located on Springfield Avenue and Prince Street. My father started there after the riots.
Yes, we're still there.
And me and my brothers, we still running. And we're doing a thing for the girls this year. We're going to do kickball. So to bring back the kickball, to get the moms involved and that kind of stuff. So to get them an outlet. And I'm running for the Central Ward Council. I've been serving my community my entire life. I am a public servant. I'm not a politician. My goal is, as always, is to help my community, especially our young people, get them jobs, help them with their education, find a good place to live, also help the parents that's in need for different avenues. People have always counted on me, rely on me. They're actually kind of excited. They're a little more excited than I am that I'm running because they always ask me, what took you so long? But timing is everything. The time is right for me. I'm a father of 7 children, 4 daughters by birth, 3 through marriage. They're all grown and doing well. My oldest daughter works in New York. My son works for communications department. My other son just came home from the Army, which he's now working. I have 2 Spelman graduates.
Okay.
And my 4th daughter will be graduating this May from North Carolina Central in accounting. She'll be an accountant. And I have a 15-year-old who thinks she's my boss. So I'm blessed. The work that I do is not my work, it's God's work. I enjoy serving my community, helping my community, and it's always good to see the young people come back to the community,
yes.
And they just remind me how old you really are, and just to see them grow. And even then, they look for jobs. I help them with jobs.
Sure.
Right now, I do have the list for all the companies that's at Port Newark. Mm-hmm. So you can come by Hank Cameron Sports Complex Monday through Friday from 5:30 to 7:30. I'll be there with that list to provide you with a list. I can't promise you a job, but my goal is to get you an opportunity to get a job.
Well, Luther, let's talk a little bit about the city council and why you want to run for the city council.
Several reasons. The main reason I'm running for central council is to provide transparency in government. Mm-hmm. A lot of time our community don't know what our government do, how they operate, and what's their purpose. The mayor is only the spokesperson for the city. The city council has a fiduciary responsibility to manage and monitor the city's money. The mayor can operate an open checkbook. It's the council's role to make sure that the spending is done properly and the budget is maintained. And that comes with taxes, the right amount of taxes coming in. It's a simple thing as running your own house, right?
Sure,
you can't have your house without bringing in the proper income to take care of it. And so right now we're in a booming age. We have $4 billion worth of construction going on in the city.
Is that a good thing? Do you feel that that's a good thing for the city of Newark, the construction?
It's only good if it comes as it resonates into the neighborhoods. Okay. If the residents of Newark, the Firebird City, can receive those benefits, it's a great thing. You know, you have to learn this business as far as understanding municipal government. That's one of the things I have over all my competition that's running for the council. They don't have experience in municipal budget, excuse me. As the former vice president of the Firefighters Union, I negotiated 5 contracts over hundreds of millions of dollars. Wow. So in doing that, you have to understand the main thing, that the city has the responsibility, the money to be able to not only run the city, but provide you with the service.
Sure.
Police, fire, sewer, maintenance, and the proper stuff.
You have a great understanding of that right there. And all right, the mechanisms in terms of how the city government is working in terms of the council. Now, what would you do different than, let's say, the last, which would be Gail Chainfield Jenkins, who was running for mayor, so she surrendered her council seat. What would you do different than she has?
First, the thing I would do different will be is people understand the council is a part-time job. Okay. And in that job, you receive an $80,000 plus compensation. You get a staff member. You get a staff of 5 members. You also get a car, a computer, a cell phone, and so forth. So your budget is about $2.something million. Newark is one of the highest paid part-time job as a council in the country, not just the state of New Jersey.
But is it because Newark is the biggest city in New Jersey?
No, that's not the reason why. Just the way the policy has been for all these years. Okay. And my goal is, what I'm gonna do different is I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna be a full-time council. I'm gonna put a referendum on the ballot for November for the citizens to vote on to see if they want the city council to be a full-time council. With all the money and the tax revenue coming in, you have to be on board part-time.
So you don't think that the job could get done the way it's been done since the conception, I guess, of the
absolutely. You can't be at 2 places at one time. You can't work for the city and work for the council. You can't work for the city and be at the public works. You can't be at 2 places at one time. It's a responsibility that bears. You have the responsibility to take care of its citizens. Okay. So you need to be here full time, and that's what I tend to do. And again, the residents will decide that with a ballot vote. They'll cast a vote to make sure that we are here full time. Another thing I would do differently than Gail is I would definitely call for term limits. I believe that if you have term limits, it brings out the best of people.
Now, when you say term limits, explain that, communicate that to the people that's will be looking at this video in a few hours.
Like the governor of New Jersey and the president of the United States, there are term limits. Right? If you win your first election, you unfortunately win your second election, there's 2 terms of what can you do. So with the term limits, you have to get to work and accomplish your goals.
So what would be the term limits for, now I follow exactly what you're saying. So what would be the term limits for a city council person to run? Can they run 2 consecutive? Can they run 3 or 4? How would you break that up? Yes,
it would be for the mayor. My thinking is 2 terms for the mayor, 3 terms for the council. That way you break that up as far as them running as teams. Everybody can run their own individual merit and let the citizens decide.
So now the mayor can just continue to run and continue to run?
The mayor and the council can run as many times as they want. Sharp James did 20 years. Ken Gibson did 16 years. And, you know, I mean, Corey did what, 12? 12 before he got out of here?
But most of Newark, well, you know, from what we are accustomed to after Ananizio, that we really got more personalized with Kenneth Gibson. And I expected a Newark mayor to do at least three to 4 terms. I don't even, you know, I can't even visualize a Newark mayor doing 1 term, you know, because I've been read it under Kenneth A. Gibson, you know, where Gibson was here, you know, and then Sharp James, and then, you know, of course, Cory Booker, then he opted out because he went into the Senate.
That's what he wanted to do. Yeah, again, it started off great. You know, it's always, some marriages is great in the beginning, and it wind up coming apart at the end. But again, if he wasn't able to do that, he would have been more effective, I think, as far as accomplish most of the goals. He only took us as far as he can go with Ken. Then Sharp took over with the Renaissance. Sure. Corey came in and opened up things as far as business, which was good. Only bad thing he did was he wasn't very good with managing the budget, and that came from the council. So the council was to make sure that the money was there so that you don't lay off 175 cops in Newark. Sure. You don't lay off 2,000 city workers. So that's the failure of the council. One thing that they had in the past with the mayor, with Ken, the council, he always had a conscience. Rest his soul, Donald Tucker was always the conscience for Ken and for Sharp.
Donald was a South Ward, right?
That's he was South Ward, and he was at large.
Okay.
Towards the end, and Donald was great. Him and my uncle Donald Bradley. So, I mean, they were the conscience, and they were very responsible as far as us managing our money. When Sharp James was in office, I can truly say this city always had money. Sure. We always had jobs, and this man was also in charge of the state of New Jersey Financial Committee. So we always had money as far as the different programs for recreation. We always had recreation. We always had job training. We always had trips for the kids. Sure. I mean, it was just so much going and so much booming. But now we kind of lost that, but we're trying to get that back right now with this money coming in. And that's what I mean as far as the difference for me, for everybody else, is understanding municipal government. Tax abatements are not a bad thing. It serves two purposes. One, it guarantees the city a tax revenue. You need taxes to pay your bills. Sure. All right, so the police is 60% part of the budget. Fire is about 30, 35. Then you have your sanitation, and then you have your other departments that follow through. So the tax abatements works two things. That's the first way. The other way, it works for residential. People don't know that some homeowners you can entitle to a tax abatement for your home if you apply for it. A lot of people don't know that. And that's what I mean about the resources.
So you're going to make all this stuff known.
Absolutely.
So will you do, I was talking to an independent candidate, and he said that when he get in office, he said that what he would do is have a ward meeting every month or every year, like the mayor have the State of the City address. He would have this, I guess you would kind of call it the State of the Ward address. And are you willing to do something of that nature where you would actually come out and actually present to the ward, tell the ward exactly, as the mayor talked to us a month ago at New Jersey PAC, but when the mayor talked, he's talking to all the wards. That's correct. But you would actually talk about your ward, which would be the central.
Well, one of the things I'm going to do, again, you're the staff of 5. Okay. So their liaison staff, I'll call them.
Are they part-time, the staff?
No, their staff is full-time.
Okay.
Staff is full-time. So want to be in charge of Newark schools, communication with them, senior citizens, the Newark Housing Authority, the Recreation Department, and one liaison to all the businesses as far as in the city of Newark. So we want to be able to make sure our businesses are happy and functioning properly to keep our tax revenue. We want to be able to have somebody communicate with Newark Public Schools, especially individual schools or the guidance counselors, identify the problem homes, get them counseling, get them help, whether it be housing, whether it be food, whether it be clothing. All right, our senior citizens, these are the twilight of the years. Right now, they got mixed income inside senior citizen homes. You got vacants running the hallways, some are drug infested. You want to eliminate all of that. That's where we have a liaison with the Newark Housing Authority.
So you want to have basically a senior citizen home where seniors are at,
just
not where, well, how do the younger people get in there? Because, I went by a senior citizen home and I saw someone that grew up with us that actually lived in there. Now, how did that work? Because years ago, it was, and I don't want to use this term, but I will use it so people can feel what I'm saying. Years ago, we called the senior citizen home the old folks home.
That's correct.
And it was only for the old folks. But now they changed it to senior citizen, and then you see the influx of all kinds of people, young and whatever.
It's bad. My aunt actually did an article in NewJersey.com. She at 2 Nevada. Her name is Shirley Mack. That's my aunt. And what happens is this: Newark Housing Authorities want to get out the housing business. So what they're doing is selling their property to developers. Okay. So once the developer gets it, he can set his own rules. And so therefore, you have to provide X amount of disability people with housing, that kind of thing. But you don't want them mixed with our seniors. They had private construction property for them. The property located on Elizabeth Avenue, as you go around that bend by the Exxon gas station, the one on the left, if you're going south, that's designed for individuals like that with special needs, disabilities, things of that nature. But it's been closed for years because they sold it to a bum developer who didn't pass all the city ordinances, all that kind of stuff. So we want to get them their own special need buildings, because again, they have wheelchairs, they have various illnesses, that kind of stuff. They need
but their age don't
That's
match.
correct.
It becomes a problem.
That's correct.
because they're still young people.
Young people, 40s.
Yeah, they're still young.
Yeah, and then they bring their friends in over there.
Sure.
And again, if people understand, there's a city ordinance on the city books, 1991. It states that if you have a building with 100 units or more, you must provide armed security at least 8 hours a day.
Wow, okay.
See, people don't know that. Besides having the right amount of security guards in each building.
Sure.
So you want to be able to make sure that work with these owners, these developers, these tenants, that they provide the proper services for our community. Because, I mean, again, I watch some of these council meetings, and the people come up there, and they are mad. They're yelling and screaming at the council, and I'm like, sometimes I can't even watch it, and it's a shame. It's ridiculous, and they have no answers. At least Gail, she had some answers. She did some special things, where as far as one thing she did was to keep that St. Michael's Hospital there.
Yeah.
That was very huge for us. I mean,
She talked about that with her
she did that was a very good job that she did for us. And again, if you don't utilize your staff, she can't be everywhere. That's why you have your staff there. You meet with your staff. You have these monthly meetings, and then I won't do yearly meetings. I would do quarterly addresses.
Sure.
You know, and that's my thing. Do quarterly addresses so we can answer all these concerns. We want life to be simple and easy for our people, especially our young people, giving them outlets with more recreation and more after-school program. Remember, they cut all the funding for that. Sure. They want our young people in the streets. Me and you, look, we used to play in the neighborhood house, ping pong, pool all day. We lived across the street from JFK.
But you know,
Rec
the
Center.
neighborhood house was more really belonged to you guys.
Yeah.
We had JFK.
Yeah, you had the pool. All right,
We
you
had
got the
JFK.
pool. You got the pool.
And the pool, we had the ice skating, and we had the gym, the basketball. But I mean, we drift to the neighborhood house every now and then, but that was mainly you guys'
that was our
territory.
baby.
But JFK from 200 Howard Street, JFK was
Right
our
in front.
backyard.
That's
It was
correct.
right across the street.
correct. That's
I mean,
correct.
1 minute you're right across the street.
That's it. You roll out of bed for me.
Right in the JFK. We was right there. So
And
JFK.
I pick with people. I said, when you go to inside JFK, in the pool side, you see pool on one side, and on the other side, you see rink. You don't see gym. A lot of young folks don't know there should be an ice skating rink.
That's right. First, I put my skates on.
That's right.
And in fact, you know, I grew up, of course, Crawford. Remember Crawford?
That's
White?
right. Yep. Crawford Irvington police
Yeah,
officer
right.
retired.
Yeah. And he was
Hell of a hockey player.
Yeah,
Hell of
he
a
was
hockey
one
player.
of the greatest hockey players that I know.
All county, yeah. They didn't know Central High School had the first all-black county hockey team.
Yeah. Years ago.
Yeah, Central High School.
Yeah, I remember the coach. I can't think of his name right now, but I went with Crawford sometime when he would play.
Remember Big Cephas?
Cephas, yeah.
6'7" on skates.
Yeah, Cephas Kelly.
Yeah,
He's from
6'7".
my building.
That's
200.
right,
Yeah.
200.
And Crawford was also. All right, so you bring in some interesting ideas. And really you bring in a lot of knowledge to the city council, to people to educate them on what the actual job of a city council person is. What do you think about, and I was told to ask you to see also about Amazon coming, because this is what, I'm getting mixed reviews about this Amazon, and if Amazon should come to Newark.
I think it'd be great for the city for several reasons, and only if this happens. Okay, they're looking for a tax abatement of $5 billion. These companies are in the business of making money. He's gonna make us $5 billion. We want him to make his money because he's going to pay his taxes.
Sure.
Because the tax abatement is going to guarantee us X amount of tax money.
I believe the state is offering $3 billion and the city is giving $2 billion or something like that.
That's what I heard too. But the thing is, they don't want to.
50,000 jobs.
I'm gonna get to that. But the thing is, with those 50,000 jobs, they don't want to pay the payroll tax. Every employee in the city of Newark pays a payroll tax. That payroll tax is huge. And that's why one of the things with the tax abatement, how it's a good thing, it's guaranteed revenue. And one thing I'm gonna do as city councilman, every tax abatement in the city of Newark, we're gonna set 10% aside in a fund that was gonna give tax relief to homeowners. That's the reason why you give somebody a tax abatement, and it reaches to the residents. Wow. Nobody's thinking outside the box. And with these 50,000 jobs, okay, that's fine to bring those jobs in, but do we get any management jobs? Do we give them those 6-figure jobs? Or are we late? Because I heard also that they're looking to relocate Some of their staff, I think it's Ohio, is it Ohio? From another state anyway, relocate most of their management people here to stay, yeah. They already did it with Mars. You know, Mars is back in Newark.
Mars Bar.
Mars Bar right there, they're doing that new building right there on McCarter Highway. They got a $31 million tax abatement from the state. So they're bringing most of their headquarters that's in Hackettstown, I believe it is, Bud Lake, down to Newark.
Well, you know, it would be almost ludicrous to believe that a company of that magnitude is just going to start from scratch. Now, you know, these companies are based in different areas and things of that nature and make profit other areas to come to a Newark or whatever city. And you know they're going to bring some of their people.
Of course. I mean, they're already here. They're in Elizabeth, they're in Rahway. Amazon is here already. Amazon in New Jersey is a question, can Newark get a piece of the pie? And I'm sure listen, whatever they can do for us as far as generate our tax revenue and as far as give tax relief to our residents, that's a great thing. I'm not against business. You need business. I mean, that's what makes the world go around.
So do you think that it's a good idea? Because I'm hearing mixed reviews from people I interview. Some people say it's a good idea. Some people say no, it shouldn't be. Some people say the skyscrapers in Newark is not a good idea. You know, and I guess coming from my background, and I've been out of Newark from 1988. I just came back 2012.
Okay.
And so to come back and see the structures and see what's going on, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But there's people that's been here on the ground, boots on the ground, that a lot of people feel that they're going to be pushed out, gentrified, and things of that nature. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, they pretty much started that. How it's supposed to work when Housing Authority, when Keith Kennard got here, before they can close down one complex, say like a BASA Terrace, they're supposed to build the new structure, which is on Irving Turner Boulevard, they're doing right now. So what they were doing, they were shutting down BASA Terrace, they shut down Grafton Avenue, shut down Dayton Street, they shut down Little Bricks, and it allowed them to use their Section 8 to move out of state. So that's how the process starts. And it wasn't supposed to go like that. A lot of our people left, a lot of people couldn't leave, so you really got families living on top of each other here in Newark. You have a waiting list at Housing Authority that at least 700 to 1,000 families waiting for some place to live. And now, because we got rid of him, Raz, that was a good thing, all these structures now be built up for the housing to put out people, and hopefully some of them move back. And again, that's where I come back with the Amazon tax abatement. It's a great thing. You know, you're gonna provide jobs, provide tax revenue, but you gotta pay that payroll tax. We need that payroll tax. That's the additional revenue.
So the way it's written out with the abatement, they don't have to pay the payroll tax?
They still negotiate, from what I understand.
Okay.
They don't want to pay it, so you know they're still negotiating. You're talking about 50,000 people. You know, you know that's a lot of money to leave on the table. So that's good business. Again, that's where the council come into play.
Sure.
Donald Tucker, rest his soul, brilliant man. When the Port Authority sits on our land,
Sure.
they weren't paying their fair share of taxes. Donald Tucker, Donald Bradley, and Sharp, they all got together and said, listen, we're going to go get our fair share of the money. So they went there, they sued them, we won. We won $1 billion over 10 years. So instead of the last big money that we got, the $300 million, that's what we built the arena with. And when Sharp left office, he left office with an $80 million surplus. Wow. So there was great business working the mayor, working with the council to provide the citizens with the revenue we need to function. He hired a lot of people. Sure. We didn't close down any housing complexes. The council functioned, they work together. It's like a marriage with the mayor and the council. So that's what we have to do right now. You tell me you got $4 billion worth of construction going on. You should have a number of tax revenue generated for that.
Sure.
That's not mentioned. Nobody's mentioned that. How much money at the city of Newark? You got $4 billion. We should get at least, I'll say, $700 million to $1 billion. Dollars in revenue. That's what I'm thinking. Don't you think that's a good trade-off? 40 million to 1 billion. Sure. That's a good trade-off. But nobody's giving that dollar figure. Another thing with the housing, they build all these new houses, right? Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be 20% affordable.
Sure.
Now Gail fought with that because there's a caveat inside that agreement. Okay,
which is?
If they don't provide, say I don't provide the 20% affordable housing, instead of providing the housing, I can sell these units and put that money into a fund. So that's the way of bypassing the 20% affordable
So,
housing.
but when they sell the units, are they selling the units at market rate, or are they going to sell the units for,
Well, how they sell units is how they sell their business, but 20% is supposed to be for low-income affordable people. But they can get out of that if they pay that money into a fund. They don't have to provide. They can spend that, get that
So
20%.
what would that fund do? Because then what you're saying
Again,
is that,
nobody knows
right.
where the money is.
Okay, so you're saying that they won't have those low-income
That's
people
right. They
moving into
can
building.
circumvent the system.
Oh, wow.
Yes, nobody knows that. And I'm here to tell you, Newark, and one thing about me, transparency. I don't have to lie to you. I'm not doing this for money. Right. I'm already rich. I'm rich with the Spirit of God. Jesus Christ is my Savior. Listen, I work for you. I want to work for you. I work for the citizens of Newark. I've been doing it 22 years as a firefighter. I've been doing it all my life as a community a public servant. So my thing is, to let you decide. You're grown. We're all adults here. And I've been knocking on doors, and I've been hearing their complaints and their concerns. And I listen to people, and I understand what their rights are. Because as a labor guy, the biggest thing is knowing your rights, knowing what you're entitled to. We got people that fought and died for us to have these rights. So that's my responsibility. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Like I tell my young people, I got a job for you. The Newark Fire Department is about to hire, and this month application comes out. So in order for you to get a job, you want a job making $15,000, $20,000 an hour, you got to take a drug test.
Sure.
You got to pass that drug test. It's a job for you, but you got to stop smoking. Put the weed down and come get this job. These jobs at the ports is your job. The firefighters is your job. Police department is your job. Sanitation, that's your job. You got to start being responsible. And I hold you accountable.
Sure.
Somebody held us accountable.
Sure.
That's why we're here today.
That's why we're here today. Yeah. Okay, so on that day, that Tuesday, May 8th, that morning when the doors open for the vote, how should they vote?
They should vote C7, Luther D. Roberson, the right choice for your voice. And I've met I had one debate with my other challengers that's running for the ward. Young, which is a good thing. They want to be a part of the process.
Sure.
But I think they're in it for the wrong reasons. Again, that part-time job with that particular budget is very enticing, and that's enticing as far as, I won't say they'll be corrupted, but nepotism and cronies takes place. And again, they want to be able to have their cake and eat it too. I'm not in for that. I mean, some of them are smart, and I was going to hire a couple of them. I like Adams, police officer, my brother's in blue, plus I went to school with his uncle.
Sure.
And I like Anthony. Anthony's real good, energetic. They did some real good things that amp as far as that rent control. And they should have went a step further with the term limits.
Sure.
That's how you go with the term limits, and as far as a full-time job with that referendum. So, yes.
You're saying term limits in the city council and with the mayor.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And so on May 8th, please.
And I just want to say this right here. You're the first one that I've heard mention that. Out of all the politicians that I interview, I've never heard anyone talk about that we need term limits.
Yeah, we all know we have a lot of millionaire politicians, and we all know Newark is known for corruption with a lot of our council going to jail. Behind, and that I won't say in all that, but it'll keep everybody as far as on a level playing field. And the most important thing, keeps everyone working for the citizens of Newark. Sure. And that's what it is. So on May 8th, C7, Luther Roberson, the right choice for your voice. Come out and vote. The school board election was very light, and I believe that was intentional. But nevertheless, May 8th, we're going to be out there knocking on doors. We're going to be making sure that you come out and vote. We do have early voting in Newark. People don't know that.
No.
Yeah, so we do know voting in Newark. So make sure you vote C7, the right choice for your voice, Luther Roberson. And we're going to celebrate. And again, we're going to get right to work. Like I said, right off that following week, I mean, it's not a big thing, because then we'll have how that referendum comes on the ballot based on the number of people that vote. 10% has to sign a petition to get it before the council.
I'm sure that
If the council says no, it goes on the ballot.
well, you know, if you bring that up, there's people that be at the city council, I'm sure, that raise a lot of cane out there, that they will be want the people to work full-time.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest with you, I didn't know that the guys that didn't work full-time, I thought it was a full-time job. I had no idea.
And they're kind of mad at me, but so what? They'll get over it. I mean,
Okay.
you know, it ain't about them. It ain't about me. It's about our citizens and our residents. So,
Good luck on that day.
Thank you, sir.
And it's an honor, again, you know,
Appreciate you,
we're
man.
from the same village.
yes. Good to see you, man.
Likewise.
Welcome home.
likewise.
Welcome home.
I'm happy to be back. Again, this is Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. Good night.
Man, you're good at this, man.